Okay, so I suppose you have probably heard that the Supreme Court seems to be. They haven't made a decision yet, the U.S. Supreme Court, but they seem to be leaning towards keeping mifepristone legal. If for no other reason, they don't want to step on the toes of the FDA because they should not be in the business of telling the FDA what they can and cannot deem safe, because that's the whole point of these reviews. Well, in Poland, uh, that that unfortunately isn't the case. So this article is Polish president halts law easing access to morning after pill. So let's see what the genius used as a reasoning for why the morning after pill is bad. All right. Now, of course, this is rather different because mifepristone is a birth control and not morning after. So there is that, but still. All right. So Poland's conservative president Andrzej Duda on Friday vetoed a bill to ease women's access to the morning after contraceptive pill, sparking outrage among left-wing and liberal politicians. Women's rights are high on the political agenda, while with some polls frustrated that liberal parties in the coalition government in power since December are slow at implementing their pledge to soften a near total ban on abortion. I could understand that because where are you, Donald Tusk? Seriously? How is this happening? Majority Catholic Poland is one of the only two countries in the 27-nation European Union where women require a prescription to buy emergency contraceptive pills. I really don't like it that they point out that they're a majority Catholic country, because they're supposed to be a democracy. Religion should have nothing to do with it. And let's face it, our president, the U.S. president, Joe Biden, is a Catholic. And he personally, I don't know how he personally feels about emergency contraception, but he personally, for himself, he is pro-life. He just understands that not everybody follows his interpretation of Christianity. So, even though, yes, they are a majority Catholic country, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Because not all Catholics are, anti-women. So, anyway. The new legislation would have made them available without prescription for people over 15, reversing a restriction introduced in 2017 by the former government of the Nationalist Law and Justice Party, of which Duda is an ally. The president could not accept legal solutions enabling children under 18 years of age to have access to medicinal products for use in contraception without medical supervision and bypassing the role and responsibility of the parents, a statement from his office said. Okay. Now, on the one hand, I get it. We're talking about minors. But on the other hand, they're having sex without their parents' permission. They do not need permission to have sex. And actually, even if they needed permission, what makes you think teenagers will ask their parents if it's okay? I mean, that's just not realistic. So why should they? Not everybody has the privilege of having parents who could hear something like, Mom, I'm pregnant, and not lose their shit. So, why should the government tell these kids that they have to put themselves in danger just so they could have access to this pill? So, even though technically that would be, at least in this country, in the US, it would be statutory rape. But depending on who it is they had sex with. But at the same time, this idea that teenagers can't consent, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, okay, it's a done deal. I mean, they, if not parents, at least make it so they can get any adult to sign off on it. Because kids need to be able to talk to an adult about their problems, and it's not always the parent. It added, however, that he would be open to making the morning after pill available without prescription to adult women. Well, that's something. Lawmakers from the New Left, which is part of the broad pro-European coalition government, reacted with fury. Superstitions and conservative ideology won over science and women's rights, but just for a moment. Legislator Joanna Scheuring-Wielgus wrote on social media platform X, and I'm sure I totally butchered her name. As the left, we promised, among other things, the day after pill to polls. We will deliver anyway. Health Minister Isabella, oh Lord, Letsitsina, oh boy, I know I totally butchered that one, said this week that if Duda vetoes the law, the government will allow prescriptions to be issued by pharmacists when selling the pill, rather than requiring women to have a medical appointment as currently. All right. And again, okay, so I don't know how the medical system is in Poland, but it ain't easy to get a medical appointment. And if this is supposed to be a emergency contraceptive, you don't have a lot of time here, guys. The coalition government has split between left-leaning and liberal lawmakers and more conservative lawmakers on abortion. However, it has already reinstated budgetary funding for in vitro fertilization procedures. So with that, they're light years ahead of Alabama. Oh boy. So that is all I have for that article. That's a short one. Again, the minor thing is kind of fuzzy, but at the same time, if they're old enough to have sex, which, whether you want kids to have sex or not, they have those feelings, they have those urges, so you just have to live with that. But I don't know. I mean, kids should, in a perfect world, kids would have access to an adult who isn't going to lose their shit if they told them something that they don't like. So, in a perfect world, yeah, get a parent's permission, because in a perfect world, the parent will be perfectly fine with whatever the child decides. Like, I don't want to be pregnant. And once a child is pregnant, I don't care if they're a child, I don't care if they're consenting. Once they are pregnant, they should be able to decide whether they want to have a kid. That should not be something that an adult signs off on. I get why people are concerned about children making these decisions, but at the same time, I'm sure the kid would know better whether they want a fetus growing inside of them. So, mm, yeah, I would lean towards the caution of letting the person who is pregnant decide whether they want to be pregnant. I mean, that just to me makes the most sense. So anyway, that is all I have for this article, and with that, I will see you guys in the next one.